really love a baked cheesecake recipe, but I sort of got a bit sick of not being able to indulge in them every now and then being gluten-free. So as with a lot of my recipes, I have innovated this one for you at home. So this is gluten-free, grain-free, refined sugar-free, keto-friendly, which means high-fat, low-carb. It's quite a dense one, but it means you need less of it, but you also don't have to miss out on dessert. So we're gonna create our biscuit base first using some almond meal, some hazelnut meal. So we sort of want our base to be fairly neutral in flavor. I don't want it to be too almondy, too hazelnutty, too coconutty, so I'm using a combination of all of them. The coconut actually helps create a little bit of a binding agent because it's a stickier flour. So then we have our flax meal, so linseeds or flax seeds ground down. So they also absorb a lot of water and help to stick our base together. We've also got some psyllium husk. So this replaces any of the fiber that you would normally miss out on in other grain-based products. And to make this flavorful, spices. Spices are key to creating a lot of flavor without that need or desire for sugar. So we've got some ginger and some cinnamon and then some stevia. Instead of our sugar, you could use a stevia monk fruit combination. If you sort of have had a lot of stevia, you might start to taste a slight metallic taste. The monk fruit eliminates that. We're gonna create a crumble using our butter. And because we've got nuts in there and we've got spices in there, we wanna make that come alive a little bit with a pinch of salt. So all in there, we're gonna get it to a nice, sort of a wet sand texture. And then we can press it into our cake tin base. So I've just put our base in the oven at 160 for about 10 to 15 minutes. We want to give it a little bit of a head start to crisp up and dry out. So while we're doing that, we can make our filling. So we've got some ricotta and mascarpone, cream cheese. We're gonna make this vanilla today, but if you wanted to, you could most certainly put seasonal cherries on top or blueberries or raspberries. So whilst this is a base vanilla baked cheesecake, make it your own. So we're gonna sort of start to beat that together with our stevia and our vanilla, and then we will put in our eggs one at a time. We'll scrape out our vanilla seed, press the vanilla beans flat, sort of gives it a bit of a massage, loosens those beans and makes it easier to cut. Then down the middle, then scraping out all of that flavor into our mixer. And because this is sort of our only flavoring in our cheesecake, we're gonna be a little bit extra indulgent and use 2 vanilla beans. These are really full, really gorgeous. So if you didn't have access to fresh vanilla beans, there are plenty of great vanilla bean pastes on the market. So we want to beat that until it's really coming together so that you have got none of that granulated texture of the stevia. And then we're going to add 1 egg at a time to loosen it until it's a nice fluid mixture. So we've given our cheesecake base about 10 minutes in the oven, and then I've put it into the freezer for 10 minutes so that it all shrinks down and cools really quickly so that we can speed up our cooking process. We've thoroughly mixed our batter so we can pour it in. Now, to avoid sort of that gluggy mouthfeel that some cheesecakes can have, we're going to cook this low and slow. So for the first 40 minutes, we're going to put it at 150. And then we're going to reduce it to 125 for a further 35 minutes until it is silky smooth, nice and golden on top. And then there's no air bubbles. It's allowed enough time to sort of relax and sit into itself. I'm just going to tap this into place so that we get no air pockets and a nice, even, glossy top. All right, ready to go into the oven. So our cheesecake has come out of the oven. We've given it enough cooling time, and it does shrink up slightly, so then you can take the tin off, remove the paper, and that's quite satisfying, that bit. We've got a nice caramelization on top. Once it is cooling, it starts to sink into itself a little bit. All of the eggs help it rise, and then it just very gently sits. So you could serve it with berries if you wanted to, but just like this is quite okay. You can see those beautiful layers there. Wonderful. So there is our gluten-free, grain-free, refined sugar-free, keto-friendly, high-fat, low-carb friendly. Does dessert get any better than this baked vanilla cheesecake?